This lovely vintage wedding dress was worn by Donna for her wedding in June of 1977 in Houston. There is a picture of Donna. Look at how beautiful she is. And she chose not to wear a veil because she had hair down to her knees, and that acted as a veil. The dress, I was told, was made by Donna, so I looked for patterns to try to find a match, and I did find one. So it's McCall's 3770 from 1973, and look at that unique collar and bodice. And here you have an image of it there. It has some spots on it. It's probably the most noticeable one there, and then there's marks along the hem, which is very common. Her daughter, who was the one who donated it, said she used to play dress up in this as a young girl. So let's get started. I'm going to start with retro wash, and this is a laundry powder, and it's just been really a very good detergent for me for doing vintage items. I add a little bit of Dawn and then some washing soda. And I'm not exactly sure what the fiber content of the it's kind of got a crepe finish satin. Of course, there's lace too, but I'm thinking there's at least some rayon in there. So I was told the dress wasn't white originally, but I know that there is definitely some yellowing that has happened from time. And after a 1 hour soak, I decided to pay a little extra attention to that spot and then the areas along the hem. So I have a soft scrub brush, and then I'm starting with the inside of the hem, and I'm just kind of working on that, and then I flipped it around to the other side and worked on it, and it did not remove it completely, so I'm hoping with the next soaking that takes care of that. But look at the yellow water that we're starting to get, which I'm always so happy to see. So I'm going to let that water drain out, and then I am going to rinse it. There's always a lot of rinsing that happens when you're doing these gowns. So I'm rinsing that out, and then I'm going to go on to the sodium perborate, which is great for brightening. So I'm doing 1 cup, and you dissolve that in hot water, and you have to let that completely dissolve before you put it in. And at this point, I realized I forgot the train. The dress has a train. So I did a separate tub and started over with just that by itself with the Retro Wash Dawn washing soda. And then I did a shorter soak with that because I'm trying to catch up to get it so that the two can get back together in the sodium perborate, which is what's happening with the dress at this point. So that's in another tub. And I've added that dissolved solution into the bigger tub there. And I've got the smaller one, the train, in that one. And look at that yellow water for the train just after 15 minutes. So I'm rinsing that. And then now I'm going to get the train back together with the dress. So now they're both into that sodium perborate solution. And I let this soak, it was about 8 hours. I didn't mean to really let it go that long. You certainly can, but I just had other things going on. So I normally kind of can do it in a shorter amount of time. Especially, again, I knew that this wasn't white to begin with. And there's more yellow water, so that's always a good sign. And then I'm going to rinse that out. And then you have to wash out the sodium perborate so that it's back to retro wash to clean that off. And then there's more rinsing. And all the water temperatures on these at this point is kind of what my tap gets to is about 120 degrees. So then I rinse that out and then let it hang like that till it was no longer dripping. I took both pieces separately and towel rolled them and left it till the morning. So on the wrong side of the satin, there's just a little bit of dampness, but I also misted on some water to press that. And there's that before of that most prominent stain. You can see it's almost gone. Just a little bit of it remained, but the rest of the dress did brighten up beautifully. I think that, again, is so fun to find that original pattern. I love this detail on the back with that kind of narrow train and the little pearl clusters. She sewed each of those on by hand. I think she just did a lovely job creating this gown, which I feel has kind of a 1930s feel to it with this kind of upper bodice. And it's also a unique detail. I don't know if you saw that there in the sleeve, but it's an invisible zipper at the ends of the sleeves, which makes it unique as well. And there are those pretty pearl clusters that she sewed on. But this dress is just a lovely, lovely 1970s dress. And it's ready once again, 48 years later, for another special day. Thanks for watching.